Well, 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 it's everyone's favorite time of the month, the TikTok roundup. We have a lot of videos to get through today. I also am going to format this the same way I did last month, where we kind of do it hot one style. We start mild, we work our way up the spice rank. So let's stop wasting time and we're going to jump into our first one.
Don't ever tell me to fuck off in my home again, understand? Because quite frankly, Maya, you can fuck off.
I like this one. I thought it was creative. So essentially this is commenting on the fact that quite often we get told don't eat after a certain time. And a lot of time that certain time happens to be 8 p.m. And the idea is that if you eat after 8, your body will store that as fat and you will gain weight. And look, for your overall health, it truly does not matter when you're consuming your calories during the day. It comes down to daily intake. Your metabolism does not like magically come to a halt at 8:01 and then store everything as fat. It's just not how your body works. Now, I will say for some people, eating later at night does interrupt their digestion. If you're eating and then going directly to bed, a lot of times that doesn't feel great on people. So from a weight management or like overall health point of view, it does not matter when you're eating. But from a comfort point of view, it might actually matter in that way. Don't do that. I hope that was staged and that was a joke. I'm sure it was. This is a great example of something we call ego lifting, which essentially means that you're lifting way more than your body can actually handle through a full range of motion or a full rep. So in a leg press, you want to be able to get your knees in all the way to your chest, so that full hip flexion and then full extension. If you do not have that, you are not performing a full rep and you probably need to take off some of the weight. In this case, take off a lot of the weight. The reason we want to work most of the time full range of motion is because I'm assuming you're working out to either build muscle or get stronger. Either way, you're going to get the most bang for your buck by bringing your muscles and your joints through their full range of motion so you can get strong in that full range to build muscle or just to build overall strength to help prevent injury.
Hi, thank you for this comment. I think you were trying to roast me, but this is actually a fact. I do have a BMI of 30. Well, 29.3 to be more exact. I've been considered overweight my whole life. In middle school, elementary school, high school, I was always considered overweight. I remember vividly one time in high school, I did turn in a physical to the office, and right at the bottom of the page, it said overweight. And I was so embarrassed to turn that in and to have that written there. So my whole life I've been this way. I chatted with my dietitian because I go off of, facts and not just what pops up here, like you do. And we talked about BMI, and we talked about how it really isn't helpful for athletes. BMI doesn't tell you much. It just tells you what your height and weight and what that equals. I've said it before, I'm 5'10", 200 pounds. And I have about, and this is an estimate, but about 170 pounds of lean mass on me. Do that math in your head, you probably can't. That's pretty crazy, right? And that BMI doesn't really tell you what I can do. It doesn't tell you what I do in the field, how fit I am. It's just a couple numbers put together. It doesn't tell you how much muscle I have or anything like that. So yeah, I do have a BMI of 30. I am considered overweight, but alas, I'm going to the Olympics and you're not.
Yeah, baby. Imagine insulting a fucking Olympic athlete. I wish I had that audacity. So last year I made a whole video about BMI and talked about how it's just not the best tool to assess someone's health, because it really is just your height and your weight on a table together. And it doesn't tell us the full picture. I will say it's a fine guesstimate, but the fact that we have plenty of other tests and devices and assessments to actually give us a clearer picture on what's going on with somebody's health, I truly don't understand why we still use BMI. I also fully understand that not everyone is an athlete, right? So the main pushback I get about being against using BMI as a marker of health in a doctor's office is the fact that not everyone's a bodybuilder, not everyone's an athlete. You're giving examples that aren't accessible to everyday people. But to play devil's advocate, I would consider myself an everyday person. Yes, I work in fitness, but I'm not an athlete. I don't compete in anything. My goals are purely health-based. I want to get stronger. I want to have some nice sturdy bones. I maybe want to get better at a few skills, but I'm not talking about competing in anything. And I have gone to the doctor and been told, according to my BMI, I also fall in overweight. So take that as you will. I think there's two main takeaways here. BMI is outdated, doesn't give us a full picture of someone's overall health. And two, maybe just keep your comments about someone else's body to yourself.
Magnificent.
Huh? I'm sure there was a caption here with more information, but honestly, I kind of just like it by itself.
Magnificent.
Fat phobia is bad for all women, not just fat women. And I think that's the thing that people don't get. Like, yes, obviously it's bad for fat women, but it's also bad for thin women. Even if you're currently winning the whatever beauty standard that we have, by subscribing to that, you are setting yourself up for failure, because now you have put the threat in place that if your body changes, your value will be lost. By putting your value and your worth in your body shape and size, you are setting yourself up for failure. And even if you never fail, that threat will be hanging over you forever. Is that really a world you want to live in? Is that a world you want for your friends and your family? Is that a world you want for your daughters and your nieces? Like, because men use it as a threat to make women feel bad about themselves. They're like, oh, what if you gain weight? How many times have you heard men use that? It is so common because it's such a powerful tool. It is a tool of the patriarchy, and the fact that people don't get that, they're just like, yes, thin is in, skinny queen. You're like,
100%. And this is why whenever I am giving advice or recommendations or workouts or anything like that, it's always coming from a health standpoint. What your body looks like is, quite frankly, none of my business. My approach is always going to be health-based. Now, a few things with that. Do I have clients who have weight loss goals? 100%. Do I have clients who have aesthetic goals, like they want to grow their glutes? 100%. Do I have clients who just want to learn how to do a skill, like a kettlebell snatch or a push-up? Absolutely. None of those things are problematic. That is their choice for their body. Bodily autonomy, right? But that does not give me the right, no matter my position, to comment on your body. I will simply give you tools and insight and guidance along the way. I also just think, like, I don't know, I think you either have some sort of like internalized hatred, you have never had a loved one who's fat, or you're just like a sociopath who's incapable of empathy.
Okay, I think I finally get it. So you're telling me that I need to eat 30 grams of protein in the morning, but don't eat oats, especially not fruit, because I should be worried about the glyphosate. Now, having that many carbs in the morning will spike my blood sugar and raise my cortisol and lead to an energy crash and an increase in sugar cravings later in the day. So instead, I should go for a light and savory breakfast to balance my hormones and heal my gut with eggs and cottage cheese. But actually, 2 eggs is not enough protein, and I should be worried about my cholesterol, so I might as well just take the yolks out. And now that I think about it, cottage cheese is processed, and processed food is bad, and dairy is inflammatory. And oh wait, did the bread that I use have seed oils in it? Did you know that seed oils are toxic and inflammatory, and that the inflammation in your body is the reason that you're going to die from chronic disease? So actually, forget the eggs. Maybe I'll just eat steak and vegetables, because real food is better. But steak might actually be too high in saturated fats. And did you know that vegetables have defense chemicals and anti-nutrients? So maybe I'll just have a coffee. But coffee without food will raise my cortisol, and I need to eat something, because if I skip breakfast, I'm going to ruin my metabolism.
This is what you fitness influencers sound like, by the way. Everything just contradicts each other. No wonder people are so confused as to how to feed themselves or how to take care of themselves. My best advice across the board for people is balance and moderation. Prioritize minimally processed foods. Make sure you're getting in color at your meals. And then along the way, sprinkle in the fun stuff. We always have to remember that the poison is in the dose, right? If you're only eating hyper-processed foods, like, yeah, that's probably not gonna be great for your health. But if you're eating balanced, nutrient-dense foods the entire day, and at the end of the day have like an ice cream sandwich, you're gonna be okay. And look, if you're eating that way with balance and moderation and you're having issues with your health, go see a doctor. Food for thought. Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. If you see an influencer talking about how clean they eat and they only eat things with a few ingredients and then they're promoting supplements, girl.
Amount of wellness tomfoolery that's sold in Home Goods, TJ Maxx, all those likes is insane. Starting with this brand of greens powder, bro, for a scoop you get 1 gram of fiber. Put that back. You have a blend of different things. You don't even know exactly how much is in it. Apple cider vinegar gummies are not going to help you lose weight. This quote-unquote hydration mix has no potassium, sodium, or magnesium, so you're not really doing that. Gotta let the biotin gummies go. Also, if you take this amount, it can falsely change your thyroid levels in lab. Went to Ulta and saw this wellness-ified fiber, 1.5 grams for 3 whole capsules for $30 whole human dollars. I think not. Pick up an apple. Hope this helped.
So continuing on with supplements. I talked at length about supplements, specifically greens powders, in this video right here, and we break down the concept of proprietary blends. But let's review. So a company will create a supplement that has proprietary blends in it, meaning it is a blend of ingredients that they name something, that they do not have to disclose how much of each ingredient is included to protect their recipe. But many supplement companies use this as kind of a loophole to underdose, meaning they could have a Salt Bae amount of an ingredient but still list it on there and have it be the major selling point of an ingredient, like said fiber pills that we just saw that had basically no fiber in them. So then this always comes down to, well, what supplements should I be taking? What should I look out for? And to be honest, and I always say this when we're talking about supplements, I am A, not super knowledgeable on them, because B, I don't really take many supplements. The only thing that I take pretty regularly is protein powder, and that's simply because it's an easy way to get it enough during my day. If you do want more insight into what supplements to take, I would say A, either work with a registered dietitian, or B, in your annual, when you get your panels back, ask your doctor if you're deficient in anything, and then you can go from there. But for most people, if you're eating a balanced diet day to day, meaning you're getting lots of colors in, you're prioritizing minimally processed foods, you're probably gonna hit most of what you need.
How long does it take to firm up your whole body in menopause? This wall Pilates challenge is for women in menopause. Within a week, you will notice. In 2 weeks, others will see it. And in 3 weeks, you will have a firm body. Now you just have to get started. And if you don't know where to start, check out this 28-day wall Pilates challenge for menopause. Improving your strength and flexibility doesn't have to be a drag. Plus, these Pilates workouts can be done at home and no special equipment is needed. You only need 15 minutes of Pilates per day to firm up by the end of the challenge. Sign up for the challenge now.
Okay, first of all, what the fuck is this? Why am I looking up someone's anus? And why is this like my sleep paralysis demon? Anyway, the claim here is that this wall Pilates challenge will firm up your body during menopause. So, okay, all right, talk about preying on a very insecure demographic of women. Let's break it down. So during menopause, a lot of different hormonal fluctuations and changes happen. And one of the primary things that happens is that estrogen production plummets. This can cause things like a loss of bone density, weight gain, and even an entire change in your body composition. And I'm sure that's incredibly frustrating and pretty scary. So when companies make claims like this, it really pisses me off. It's just a way to promote, quite honestly, bullshit to a demographic of women who are very insecure about their body. Especially because this like AI softcore porn nonsense will not do anything that they're claiming it will do in however many days. What you're gonna wanna focus on in terms of movement during menopause, quite frankly, is not that different from what you would do beforehand. You want to strength train, you want to increase your cardiovascular threshold, include power and agility work, and then nutritionally prioritizing nutrient-dense foods. And to be honest, your body will probably change when you hit menopause, and you probably won't like it. But body changes are a part of life, and it's a part of aging. And instead of simply focusing on like the external changes that, you know, might bring up negative feelings, why don't we shift toward the internal and the positives? You know, you've made it to menopause, and a lot of people don't. And instead of wasting even more time worrying about how our bodies are perceived, I would rather shift the focus, no matter our age, no matter what we look like, on what our bodies are capable of. Just food for thought. Let's sell a program like that. Yeah, I think instead this should say like POV, your Pilates instructor told you to start doing this exercise every day and you realize they're not a certified Pilates instructor. Look, stuff like this grinds my gears because Pilates instructors have to go through some of the most rigorous training to get their certification. Unlike a personal trainer who could literally do like a NASM CP2 course in like 2 weeks if they wanted. And look, I'm not saying that Pilates instructors are superior. I'm not saying that getting your, basic personal training cert is stupid and a waste of time. The point I'm trying to make is that being certified in Pilates is very rigorous, and I'm not even a Pilates instructor, and like I'm insulted on your behalf for all of the people jumping on the trend of Pilates and making it something that it's not. And I rarely see certified Pilates instructors ever making claims like this about like one exercise that you do daily that completely changes your body and like somehow does your taxes too. So if you see a Pilates instructor posting content like this, they are either not certified or they are and they just simply don't give a shit. They're trying to capitalize off your insecurities. The petite content is back. Okay, I've recently made a few videos on this idea of petite fitness, which, spoiler alert, is mostly a scam. In my most recent video, I did actually give a handful of tips if you're a little bit shorter in the gym just to make equipment fit you. But overall, you do not need to train differently if you're small. Your body does not work any differently. But for fun, let's go through all of these things that you should be doing if you're a petite, which April Whitney, this creator, defines as 5'4" and under. If you want to glow up as a petite. So I don't really know what glow up means here. I will say she posts a ton of weight loss and like body transformation content. So I don't know if this is what she means, but I guess she means look better. Add 2,000 steps daily. That could be for anybody. Full body workouts. That could be for anybody. Eat PFF, petite friendly foods. What the fuck is that? Strength train 3 to 5 times a week. Anybody. Daily walking. Anybody. SPF daily. Anybody. Drink 2 to 3 liters of water daily. Yeah, what's that, like 11 cups? 11, 12? Sure. But again, anybody. Sleep 7+ hours, eat 30 grams of protein in your first meal, 100 grams of protein plus a day, progressive overload. So we're just throwing out words now, right? Water, table, mug, chair. Do these and you'll glow up as a petite. Swap coffee for matcha, read 10 pages a day. These are just random habits that you could form that have nothing to do with being small. And it's content like this that annoys me because it is someone with a massive following who could help people and they're just putting out word vomit.
I had my third baby on the 4th of July, and let me tell you, I'm not feeling all fireworks right now. I'm taking you to the gym with me today, and not just to do a normal workout. We're simply focusing on core, pelvic floor, and reconnecting. After I got done nursing my daughter, I cracked open an energy drink and got to the gym simply to get out of the house. These are definitely movements you can do from the comfort of your living room, your home, your bedroom floor, or anywhere. These also are to be done at your own pace of recovery, as everyone is different, but these are so low impact and a really great place to start and honor your body without overdoing it. Remember that your workouts will not necessarily look like workouts at the beginning, okay? Take time for yourself and take time for movement. You got this.
Okay, so I actually really love the exercise recommendations here, and a lot of them follow the postnatal core recovery that I practice with a lot of my clients. But I also think it is incredibly irresponsible to be posting this content at 13 days postpartum, 13 days after having a baby. That's not even 2 weeks. So the recommendation for returning to exercise after having a baby is 6 weeks if you've given birth vaginally and 8 weeks if you've had a C-section or cesarean. You can do whatever you want, and this creator can do whatever she wants. But again, I think it's again, we're talking about women during a vulnerable time. Your body's changed, your hormones are probably going crazy, and there is so much focus on getting back your pre-baby body. So posting something like this, which again, the exercises I actually do like, which we're going to talk about in a second. I think the time frame is questionable. Because look, I understand that this is, I think she said her third baby, so she's done this before. That's a lot more than me, which is 0. So I'm sure that she knows her body and she knows how she feels, but you have to remember that you are internally healing. Even if you have no spotting, no bleeding, no coning, like, gotta give your body a time to like recover. Now, here's what I would recommend you do pretty much immediately when you can tolerate it after giving birth. 360 breathing and pelvic floor activations. There's a few different variations that I would recommend in those 2 exercises, but those are very safe. It's gonna help you get reconnected to your diaphragm, your TVA, your pelvic floor, so that then when you do hit the 6 or 8 week mark and you receive clearance from your doctor, you can safely move back into exercise. Then I would start working on some supine work, and then you can start working on some prone work. And all of the drills that she put in here, I would say are great, but I would also say you want to wait till the 6 or 8 week mark. Also, in case you're wondering, I do have my pre and postnatal training specialist certification through Pronatal Fitness. I've worked with about a dozen clients now during pregnancy and post-pregnancy. So I do feel like I at least have a little bit of experience to comment on this. But once again, you can do absolutely whatever you want in your own body. I just want to give you a little food for thought here. Tell me you don't know what cortisol is without telling me you don't know what cortisol is. So I made a whole video about cortisol last year, I think. In case you don't know, cortisol is your stress hormone. So when you are stressed, your body releases cortisol, and when you're not stressed, it goes back down. That's a really big simplification, but that's really all you need to know. And if your body does that, then your body is functioning as it should. Now, there are definitely conditions where you could have chronically high elevated cortisol, and that is a time where I would say go see a doctor. Don't buy this bullshit supplement that this person who quite literally couldn't even tell you what cortisol is trying to shill out to you. What would be more helpful would be actually making a video about how to regulate or manage the stress that you have in your life around work, around kids, about money, about whatever it might be. But no, influencers will never do that because they can't make money off of that. Because remember, you're not stressed, you're just sick because your cortisol is high. So you need to buy this product from my affiliate link.
I saw a singular video about how NASA did a study that jumping on a trampoline for 10 minutes is the same as running for 30 minutes and said, say no more. I'm gonna put her to the test. We're like halfway. I chose a 15-minute one instead of a 10-minute one, but 60 calories, 7 minutes. Pretty good, in my opinion. 9 minutes in, drenched, dying. We're done. I did 15 minutes instead of 10, and I'm obviously winded. Heart rate is up, flushed. This workout was a little bit more intense than some of the other ones I've done. A lot of the times I'll just turn on the TV and watch it and bounce. And that alone is still raising your heart rate. It's still a good workout. We're having a sale right now. It's 30% off. There's a coupon for 15% off. You might have more if you're a first-time buyer, but I'll link it here for you guys.
I hate TikTok Shop so much. Okay, critical thinking, really quick. We're taking health advice from NASA now. Also, what does equivalent mean? Is that caloric expenditure? Is that cardiovascular benefits? Is that VO2 max improvements? Like, what are we talking about? Look, I think that rebounding is a great form of cardio if that's what you enjoy. But there is literally like no information in this video that tells me any benefits of doing this except for how many calories her very inaccurate watch told her that she burned. This person is just trying to have you buy a product so they can make money from their affiliate link. And again, if you want a rebounder, you go for it. But if you enjoy running and you see this and you're like, oh, well, this is better for me, it doesn't matter. Define better. Oh my God. Define equivalent. Ugh.
A lot of people say the abs are made in the kitchen. Is that true?
The abs are
Not made.
actually, for women, the abs are made the most in our emotional battles. We hold so much tension and inability to connect to our abdominals. We hold inflammation there when we're not hitting our communication head on, especially with people that we love, or we're trying to stay in something that's broken, or when we're not facing our guttural instincts, anything in nature that's put in unnatural distress, like anybody that's creating painful roadblocks for other people, or they feel like they can't unblock, that has so many repercussions on our health.
I think I just got dumber watching that. This is Tracy Anderson, and she likes to make up science. Let's start with this. Can your emotional state influence your health? 100%. If you have a ton of stress in your life and you don't have ways to deal with it, your body will take a toll, okay? So I'm not disputing that by any means. But let me get it straight what Tracy Anderson's saying. Women have trouble getting visible abs because they're emotional. First of all, having visible abdominals is not the end-all be-all, like ultimate marker of health, okay? So much of that has to do with your genetics, your body fat percentage, and just where you store fat. Speaking of which, where you store fat, many women will store fat in their midsection if they have traditional female reproductive organs because it is meant to protect your uterus, which is where a fetus would go. And before someone comes at me for saying traditional female reproductive organs, I am literally just using clinical terminology. I'm not being woke as many of you like to point out, some people are born without those things, but still happen to have female chromosomes. I'm not trying to be divisive. But for the record, this is a safe place for all gender identities, and if you don't like that, I don't want you here. Anyway, Tracy Anderson is spewing nonsense, and you should just ignore her.
Put it quite frank, I'm gonna show you the way. Why you flexing? What you flexing for? I'ma tell you how it is, I got a lot to say. Ask me how I got it, I do all the shopping. I'm all in.
Mr. London, you are a pest, sir. This man loves talking about the FUPA, which, in case you don't know, FUPA stands for Fat Upper Pussy Area. At least that's what it stood for when I was a kid. Apparently, it's become more like politically correct now, and now it's Fat Upper Pelvic Area. I like my version better. Regardless of what the P stands for, it is just another way to make women feel insecure about their bodies by a man. Okay. Chill. Now, Mr. London's interesting because he makes content like this and then he always says, read the caption before you get upset. It's like, okay, well, let's read the caption. So he says, comment FUPA to get the full FUPA program. He has a FUPA program, a Fat Upper Pussy Area program. Okay, now before people start going crazy, no, I don't have a FUPA. Sir, that's not why I'm going crazy. I've been helping women transform their bodies for the last 10 years. I have a YouTube channel. Just remember that before you comment anything negative. Okay. Back to the workout. I don't want you to completely stop doing standing ab exercises to no equipment, especially if you're just starting out as a beginner, but over time you will need to incorporate some form of resistance if you want to build some form of muscle and tone up, ladies. Talks about progressive overload, increased muscle tone, blah, blah, blah. So it's funny because the caption is talking about including resistance training and utilizing a program that has progressive overload so you actually make some nice progress. And I agree with all of that. So you go back to the actual video content and it's like, what the fuck was that? What is this spot reduction nonsense? And then like, hey, here's like a smart program. Like what? The reason why he annoys me so much is because he's a great example of someone who probably knows better, but doesn't give a fuck. It is just another man with a six-pack preying on women's insecurities and promising them something while insulting them. Whew, and that's it. We sat here in 85-degree heat with no air conditioning on to bring you your favorite video of the month. A lot of these videos were submitted to me, so thank you to everybody who helped contribute. I keep saying I'm trying to cut down on my scrolling time, so it's really helpful for you to like do part of my job for me. Thank you. No, but seriously, I really do appreciate it. If you want to share a video with me, the best way to do that is on Instagram. I always have my page linked down below. If you want to share any thoughts on these videos, please leave it in the comments. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on next month's video, and I will see you in the next one.